Time. Just the word carries weight. It haunts us from the moment we are born. Clocks tick incessantly, calendars turn relentlessly, and life seems to measure itself against the tyranny of seconds and hours. We are trained to chase it, to organize it, to fear it. But the Sufis, the ancient seekers of truth, invite us to see time differently. Not as a tyrant outside of us, but as a living, flowing river within. Each moment is a wave in this river, each heartbeat a current carrying infinite possibilities. To understand time in this way, we must stop thinking of it linearly. Past, present, and future are not strict divisions. They are illusions created by the mind. The past has already dissolved like morning mist, and the future is only a shadow projected by our imagination. Only the present truly exists, and within the present lies the eternal. Rumi said, "Do not seek time, seek the moment." In this simple yet profound statement, the gateway to timelessness is revealed. Imagine sitting beside a river at dawn. The water glimmers as the first light touches its surface. Each ripple, each swirl, each tiny wave is unique, yet no part of the river can be held. You dip your fingers into it, and it slips through your grasp, yet you feel yourself moving with its flow. This is the essence of Sufi time, the recognition that life is not to be seized or controlled, but witnessed, felt, and fully experienced from within. Modern life makes this awareness difficult. We are surrounded by schedules, notifications, deadlines, and endless stimuli. We are taught to measure our worth by productivity, to fear wasted time, and to chase the next moment relentlessly. Yet these are the illusions of outer time, the measurement of the mind. True time is felt, not counted. It is the rhythm of the inner world, the rise and fall of thought, the ebb and flow of emotion, the subtle pulsing of the body and the soul. Consider a simple daily scenario. You wake up, check your phone, and instantly feel the weight of tasks and obligations pressing down. Anxiety rises. You are already racing against the day before it has begun. But now pause. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. The warmth of the sunlight touching your skin. The quiet hum of life around you. In this simple awareness, time transforms. It ceases to be a tyrant and becomes a river in which you are floating, not fighting, not resisting. You are alive in the eternal now. The Sufis teach that within this inner river, destiny reveals itself. Life is not a rigid script imposed from outside. Instead, it is a reflection, a mirror of the inner state. If your mind is turbulent, if your heart is clouded with fear, attachment, or unexamined desire, your world will reflect this turbulence. If your mind is calm, your heart open, your world aligns with ease and opportunity. Destiny, in this sense, is co-created by consciousness. It is not punishment or reward, it is the reflection of who we are in each moment. Think of the mind as a mirror. When fogged with worry, envy, or anger, the reflection it casts distorts reality. Life appears chaotic, relationships strained, events unfair. But when the mind is clear, when presence illuminates the inner mirror, the reflection is pure. Patterns emerge. Connections reveal themselves. Synchronicities appear. You begin to understand how every choice, every intention, every thought contributes to the shape of your experience. The river metaphor extends further. Just as rivers have eddies, whirlpools, and calm stretches, so too does our inner life. Some moments are turbulent, some serene, some unpredictable. Sufi practice trains the individual to move with these currents, to observe without clinging, to witness without judgment. This state of inner witnessing is not passive, it is the cultivation of awareness. Through it, time ceases to be something we fear or chase, and becomes instead a living landscape in which consciousness can explore its own depths. Consider, for example, how we experience memory. Often we are trapped in the past, reliving old pains, old joys, old regrets. We identify so strongly with these memories that they shape our present moment, coloring it with shades of what once was. And yet, the Sufi observes that the past is gone. It exists only in the mind as a memory, a story told by consciousness itself. To cling to it is to resist the river of life. Similarly, when we worry about the future, imagining outcomes, rehearsing fears, we pull ourselves out of the present and into illusions. The future does not exist yet, it is only a projection. Only now is alive, only now is real, only now contains the eternal. The Sufi invites us to immerse ourselves in the eternal now. Through practices such as dhikr, remembrance, meditation, and mindful observation, the current of time within us becomes perceptible. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of thought is a wave carrying us forward. In this awareness, we see that time is not a sequence of external events, but the rhythm of life itself, flowing through and within us. Even the mundane moments hold this hidden eternity. Washing the dishes, walking through a park, listening to a bird's song, all can become portals to the infinite if experienced with presence. Each moment is a mirror reflecting the inner river of consciousness. The Sufi recognizes this, and through such recognition, the ordinary becomes sacred. Time, once feared or ignored, transforms into a teacher, a guide, a companion. And so the first great lesson emerges: do not measure your life by clocks or calendars. Do not fear the passage of days. Immerse yourself in your inner river. Witness the flow. Feel the rhythm. Understand that each moment carries the potential to reveal eternity. In this deep, patient, attentive awareness, destiny begins to show itself, not as a distant, imposed fate, but as the reflection of your inner state, a living dialogue between the soul and the universe. When we hear the word destiny, most of us imagine a predetermined path, a rigid line stretching from birth to death. It is something outside of us, something fixed and immutable, a plan written by fate or divine decree. But the Sufis teach a profoundly different view. Destiny is not imposed upon us. It is a reflection of our inner state, a mirror in which the soul sees itself. Imagine a calm lake. Its surface reflects the sky, the trees, and the mountains around it. But if the water is stirred by wind, waves, or thrown stones, the reflection distorts. The world does the same to our inner states. If the mind is restless, clouded with fear, anger, or desire, life appears chaotic and unfair. If the mind is calm, open, and present, life flows with clarity and synchronicity. Destiny is not a punishment or reward. It is the reflection of consciousness itself. The implications of this are vast. Every thought, every intention, every action contributes to the shape of our lives. When we cultivate presence, awareness, and compassion, we do not merely react to events, we co-create them. This is not mystical fantasy. It is a practical reality observed in countless ways in human life. How often do we notice that when we are calm and open, solutions appear effortlessly? Opportunities emerge where previously there seemed to be none. Relationships flow more easily, and challenges, though still present, become manageable rather than overwhelming. Sufis call the heart the compass of destiny. The intellect and logic, though useful, are limited in perceiving the subtle currents of life. The heart, however, perceives patterns invisible to the mind. When aligned with its guidance, decisions and actions resonate with the flow of the universe. Even seemingly random encounters, meeting a stranger, a sudden inspiration, a chance opportunity, begin to reveal themselves as part of a larger pattern. Destiny, in this sense, is dynamic and interactive. It is not something out there to be attained, but something in here to be realized. Consider the practice of reflection. A Sufi spends time observing the self, thoughts, desires, fears, attachments. By witnessing without judgment, the individual begins to see the connection between inner states and outer experiences. A moment of impatience may ripple into conflict later. A moment of genuine generosity may open doors unexpectedly. Destiny, then, is not written in stone. It is a living dance between inner awareness and outer experience. Even ordinary life offers profound examples. Think of someone who approaches life with negativity and fear. Opportunities appear, but the mind interprets them as threats. Relationships are strained. Experiences feel heavy. Now consider the same circumstances approached with patience, openness, and mindfulness. The same events unfold, but the experience is entirely different. The reflection has changed because the observer has changed. The river of destiny flows differently, not because external circumstances have altered, but because consciousness has shifted. The Sufis also teach the subtle power of intention. Every thought and action carries energy that shapes the surrounding reality. When intentions are clear, aligned with compassion and truth, they act as a lens through which destiny is refracted. Just as a crystal bends light, our inner states bend the flow of life. Understanding this is not merely philosophical, it is practical guidance for navigating life. By cultivating purity, patience, and awareness, we shape not only our own destiny but also contribute positively to the world around us. Moreover, destiny is intertwined with time. The flow of moments, when observed fully, reveals patterns and connections invisible to the distracted mind. What may seem like coincidence is often a reflection of inner readiness or unresolved blockages. The Sufi's task is to refine the inner lens so that destiny can be perceived in its clarity. This is why patience, reflection, and presence are not optional. They are essential tools for understanding the river of life. Meditate for a moment on this. Every encounter you have, every challenge, every joy, is a reflection of your inner state. When you change your perception, your response, your intention, the reflection changes. Destiny is not something to be awaited, it is something to be realized in the present. The world becomes a mirror, and the mirror reveals not only the path forward but the inner truth that has always been present. Sufi teachings expand on this idea through stories and parables. One classic teaching tells of a man who spends his life searching for a hidden treasure across distant lands, only to discover upon his return that the treasure had been beneath his own home all along. The moral is clear: destiny is not always external. It is intimately tied to awareness, perception, and the cultivation of the inner self. When the inner mirror is polished, the reflection of destiny appears naturally, effortlessly, and beautifully. Finally, understanding destiny as a mirror encourages humility and compassion. It reminds us that our struggles, failures, and challenges are not punishments but reflections. They are invitations to observe, learn, and grow. By cultivating mindfulness and deep presence, we align ourselves with the flow of life, discovering that destiny is not a distant or separate force. It is an ongoing dialogue between the soul and the universe, a dynamic reflection of awareness unfolding in each moment. Life often appears to move according to two seemingly opposing forces: free will and fate. We plan, we make decisions, we strive to shape our lives. And yet, events occur that seem entirely outside our control. Accidents, coincidences, sudden opportunities, or unforeseen challenges. How can both free will and destiny coexist? How can we be both creators and participants in a universe that feels at times chaotic and unpredictable? The Sufis offer a powerful metaphor to understand this paradox: the river and the leaves upon it. The river represents fate. It has a course, a direction, a flow that cannot be altered. The leaves floating on the surface, however, have a measure of freedom. They spin, turn, catch the wind, and move with the current. Some moments are influenced by their own subtle choices, yet always within the limits of the river's flow. Similarly, our lives contain both what is given and what is shaped by conscious action. Free will does not exist outside the context of destiny. It dances with it, moves with it, and finds meaning within it. To live wisely, the Sufi teaches, is not to resist the river of life, but to move with awareness. Resistance generates tension, suffering, and a sense of futility. Acceptance is not resignation, it is conscious alignment. Imagine a surfer riding the ocean waves. Fighting against the tide leads to exhaustion and defeat. Flowing with it, feeling the rhythm, understanding the currents, allows mastery, grace, and joy. The same principle applies to life's river. By observing, responding, and participating consciously, we navigate the river rather than being swept away. Consider the modern human experience. We obsessively try to control outcomes, relationships, careers, health, social recognition. And yet, no amount of planning can eliminate uncertainty. Sufi philosophy invites us to shift focus. Instead of attempting to dominate external circumstances, we cultivate inner mastery. By refining attention, regulating emotion, and attuning our heart to subtle currents, we shape how events appear and how we respond to them. Fate may bring the river, but the leaf chooses how to float. This interplay of free will and destiny is also evident in decision-making. Every choice has consequences, yet not all outcomes are predictable. A Sufi might reflect, "I cannot control the rain, but I can choose how to walk through it." Every action, every intention, every thought interacts with the currents of fate. The river moves, the leaf dances, the soul learns. The paradox is embraced, not solved. Freedom exists, yet always within the flow. Sufi stories often illustrate this dance. One tale speaks of a man who sought wealth by traversing distant lands, believing his destiny lay in foreign treasures. He encountered storms, robbers, and unexpected kindnesses. Finally, weary and humbled, he returned home to discover the treasure had always been in his own courtyard, hidden beneath the soil he had walked over daily. Fate brought the river. His choices, awareness, and patience determined how he experienced it. This is the essence of the Sufi perspective. Destiny and free will are not opposites but partners in a sacred dance. The dance is not always easy. Life presents obstacles, injustices, and disappointments. Yet Sufis emphasize that these too are part of the river's flow. Challenges are invitations to grow, to refine perception, to deepen presence. By moving consciously with adversity, we discover that the river's twists and turns are not merely hardships. They are lessons, opportunities, and mirrors reflecting our inner state. Modern analogies help illuminate this truth. Consider a musician improvising with a band. The melody may be guided by underlying chords, fate, but the musician's skill, intuition, and creativity, free will, shape the expression. Each note, each pause, each variation is both influenced and self-determined. Life is similar. We cannot always control the chords, but we can choose how to play each note. Meditation, reflection, and conscious practice are the tools the Sufi uses to navigate this dance. By observing thought patterns, emotional reactions, and habitual tendencies, the seeker cultivates an awareness that allows participation rather than reaction. The river flows, the leaf dances, and the soul awakens to the interplay of forces. Awareness becomes the bridge between destiny and free will, a living conduit through which life is understood not as chaos but as meaningful rhythm. Finally, consider that this dance is infinite and ongoing. There is no endpoint, no perfect mastery, only continuous learning. Each moment offers an opportunity to engage consciously with the currents of life. The Sufi learns to perceive the hidden patterns, to feel the subtle rhythms, to align the heart with the eternal flow. In this alignment, destiny is no longer a distant, mysterious force. It becomes a living dialogue, a co-creative process between the soul and the universe, where free will and fate are inseparable partners in the sacred dance of life. Every moment we experience is far richer than it seems at first glance. In the rush of daily life, we often treat each second as disposable, an interval to be filled with tasks, distractions, or worries. But the Sufis invite us to see each moment not as a mere tick on the clock, but as a gateway to eternity, a portal through which the infinite can enter our consciousness. To understand this, imagine walking through a dense forest. Sunlight filters through the leaves in scattered patterns, creating fleeting illuminations on the forest floor. Each patch of light lasts only for a few seconds, yet within that brief flash exists an entire world of color, shadow, texture, and life. Most of the time, we pass without noticing, distracted by thoughts of where we are going or what we need to do. But a Sufi stops, breathes, observes. The moment becomes vast. Time expands. Eternity touches the now. Rumi often spoke of the eternal now, encouraging seekers to die before you die. This paradoxical instruction is deeply practical. To die before physical death is to release attachment to the linear narrative of past and future, to shed identification with fleeting thoughts and imagined fears, and to dwell fully in the present. In that death, we are reborn into awareness. Every heartbeat becomes infinite, Every breath becomes a doorway. Consider modern examples. A parent watching a child play, a musician immersed in improvisation, a runner feeling the rhythm of steps on a quiet morning trail. These moments, when fully attended, reveal a kind of timelessness. The ordinary transforms into the sacred. The mundane becomes luminous. Time, which seemed linear and pressing, reveals its hidden depth. Each instant contains layers of reality, consciousness, and being that extend infinitely. Sufi practice emphasizes mindfulness as a key to accessing this timeless quality. Meditation, contemplative breathing, dhikr, repetitive remembrance, or simply conscious attention to sensory experience. These are not abstract exercises. They are practical tools to pierce the veil of habitual perception and reveal the eternal within the ordinary. When one fully inhabits a single moment, noticing the subtle rise and fall of thought, the cadence of breath, or the delicate sensations of the body, the present becomes a microcosm of infinity. This focus on the present moment also reshapes our understanding of destiny. If every moment is a portal, every choice and action carries profound significance. The river of life is not just a flow of events. It is composed of countless gateways, each offering the potential to perceive, to awaken, and to act with awareness. The Sufi's path is the cultivation of the capacity to recognize and move through these gates consciously. Let us explore this with a metaphor. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast landscape at dawn. Mist rises from the valleys, streams glimmer in the first light, and the mountains loom in the distance. Each step you take is deliberate. Each pause reveals new shapes and patterns. Time is not a distant horizon but the ground beneath your feet. Each moment holds its own universe. To walk without awareness is to pass through these gates blind. To walk fully conscious is to enter the eternal within each step. In practice, embracing the eternal now is both subtle and challenging. The mind constantly urges us to replay the past or anticipate the future. We worry about what has been lost, plan obsessively for what may come, or judge ourselves against outcomes yet unseen. The Sufi approach is radically simple. Notice, observe, and return to the moment. Every thought of the past or future becomes a ripple on the surface of the river. The observer, the soul, remains in the depth where the water flows quietly, endlessly, and fully. This practice transforms perception of the self and the world. A minor conflict is no longer just a source of irritation. It is a mirror reflecting impatience or attachment. A moment of joy is not fleeting. It is a door revealing the boundless potential of consciousness. A breath, once ignored, becomes a universe in miniature, containing movement, stillness, and the presence of life itself. The Sufi masters also teach that awareness of moments can guide action in life. By fully inhabiting the now, the seeker develops clarity and intuition. Decisions arise naturally, harmoniously, and without forcing outcomes. When the heart and mind align in the eternal present, destiny is perceived not as a distant script but as a living, dynamic expression of awareness unfolding through time. Even mundane tasks acquire depth under this perception. Washing dishes, walking to the market, listening to the wind in the trees, all these can become portals if attended with full consciousness. Time ceases to be measured in seconds or hours. It is measured in awareness, presence, and depth of being. This shift transforms life itself into a continuous meditation, a sacred journey through an infinite landscape of moments. Finally, consider the subtle power of collective presence. When two or more people inhabit a moment fully, sharing attention, listening deeply, acting consciously, the impact multiplies. Relationships transform, understanding deepens, and life's flow becomes a co-created tapestry of awareness. Destiny, once imagined as solitary or distant, becomes relational and immediate. Each moment is both personal and shared, private and universal, ephemeral and eternal. Thus, the lesson of moments as eternal gates is profound. To awaken to the present is to awaken to eternity. To inhabit each instant fully is to glimpse the infinite. Destiny is no longer an abstract, external force. It is lived, experienced, and realized through the conscious engagement of each fleeting, sacred moment. The river of time flows endlessly, and in each wave, each breath, each heartbeat, the door to eternity waits for the one who pauses, observes, and steps fully through. We live our lives trapped between two invisible prisons: memory and anticipation. Most of our mental energy is spent either clinging to the past or projecting into the future. The past is replayed endlessly in our minds, colored by regret, nostalgia, or unresolved pain. The future is imagined, rehearsed, feared, or idealized. Yet the Sufis teach that neither truly exists, at least not in the way our minds insist they do. Only the present, the living now, is real. Consider this: when you recall a memory, you are not experiencing the past itself. You are experiencing a story your mind tells you about the past. The sights, sounds, and feelings are filtered through layers of perception, emotion, and interpretation. Memory is inherently subjective, reconstructed moment by moment. Similarly, when you worry about the future, you are not predicting it. You are imagining it. You are projecting mental patterns into a time that does not yet exist. The past and future, in Sufi understanding, are shadows. The present is the only stage on which life actually unfolds. To illustrate this, imagine a painter standing before a blank canvas. The painter may imagine the final image, consider each color, rehearse each stroke in the mind. But if the painter never touches brush to canvas in the present moment, the painting will never exist. The same is true of life. Planning, remembering, imagining, all are tools, but the act of living occurs only now. The present is the canvas upon which destiny is painted, one conscious stroke at a time. The Sufi approach to escaping the tyranny of past and future involves cultivating mindful presence. Every thought of the past or future is acknowledged without attachment and then released, like a leaf floating downstream. Attention is returned to the breath, the heartbeat, the body, the senses, or the environment. In this act, the mind gradually learns to inhabit the eternal now, where clarity, freedom, and insight arise naturally. Modern life makes this challenging. Notifications demand attention, work deadlines press upon us, past regrets linger, future anxieties loom. It seems impossible to remain fully present. Yet, the Sufis provide a practical map. Awareness is trained incrementally, often through repetitive practices such as dhikr, repetition of divine names, breath meditation, walking mindfully, or attentive listening. These practices cultivate the skill of noticing thoughts without becoming entangled, returning consistently to the moment, and experiencing life as it is unfolding. This awareness transforms suffering. Much of human pain arises from attachment to what has passed or fear of what is to come. A quarrel yesterday, a failure last year, a worry about a career next month. These mental habits dominate perception. By recognizing them as illusions projected onto consciousness, the Sufi begins to live more freely. Life ceases to be a battleground of regrets and anxieties. Instead, it becomes a flowing river, continuously renewed by the present. The teaching goes deeper. Every moment contains potential for transformation. Within the eternal now lies the capacity to reconcile the past and shape the future. By fully inhabiting each moment, we integrate lessons, release attachments, and act in alignment with wisdom. The past loses its grip, not because it ceases to exist, but because the mind no longer grants it power. The future loses its dominance, not because it is guaranteed, but because attention is concentrated where life is truly happening, here and now. Sufi masters often illustrate this with the story of a traveler burdened with luggage from home. He stumbles under the weight, slows his journey, and wonders why life is so difficult. Another traveler approaches lightly, walking without burden, noticing the scenery, listening to the wind, feeling the earth beneath his feet. Though both walk the same path, one suffers under memory and anticipation, while the other moves freely. The lesson is clear: past and future are mental weights. The present is the ground beneath our feet. Release the weights, and life flows naturally. Even subtle daily experiences reveal this principle. A smile from a stranger, a sudden bird song, the warmth of sunlight on skin. If noticed fully, these fleeting moments expand into timeless presence. Anxiety about later meetings, regret over yesterday's mistakes, or craving for future rewards fades when attention rests entirely in the now. Awareness itself becomes both the path and the destination. This practice also reshapes our perception of destiny. If the present is the only true moment, destiny is not something distant, to be attained or feared. It is lived here, now, in every choice, every act, every moment of attention. The past has shaped tendencies, patterns, and habits, but it cannot dictate the flow of consciousness. The future may offer possibilities, but it cannot compel action. What matters is how we inhabit the present, how we align our inner state with clarity, awareness, and compassion. In this way, the Sufi invites a radical transformation of perspective. Time is no longer a linear chain of events. Destiny is no longer a fixed roadmap. Life is a dynamic interplay, a living river in which consciousness flows, creating ripples, eddies, and currents. By mastering attention, by dwelling fully in the eternal now, the seeker begins to perceive the subtle interconnections of existence, the hidden patterns that guide life, and the reflection of destiny as it unfolds in each moment. The practical result is profound. Anxiety diminishes, clarity arises, and actions become more harmonious with life's natural flow. Past regrets are integrated as learning, not as chains. Future uncertainties are faced with equanimity, not fear. Life becomes a continuous meditation, each moment a gate through which the infinite can enter, each breath a bridge between the seen and unseen, the temporal and eternal. Thus, the illusion of past and future is dispelled not by denial, but by awareness. Each moment is inhabited fully, revealing the eternal hidden within the temporal. Destiny is realized, not as something imposed, but as a reflection of consciousness flowing freely in the river of now. This is the Sufi path, to see clearly, act consciously, and live profoundly, one eternal moment at a time. In the vast and intricate flow of life, the Sufis teach that the heart is far more than a physical organ. It is the compass of destiny. While the mind interprets, analyzes, and plans, the heart perceives. It senses subtle currents, recognizes hidden patterns, and responds to the flow of existence with an intuitive wisdom that transcends logic. To follow the heart is not mere sentimentality. It is to attune oneself to the deeper rhythm of life itself. Imagine standing on a cliff, looking out at a vast ocean. The waves move unpredictably, the wind shifts without warning, and currents run beneath the surface, unseen. A sailor who relies solely on maps and calculations may struggle, yet a sailor who senses the wind, the swell, and the pulse of the water navigates with grace. The heart functions in this way. It perceives the invisible currents of destiny, guiding the soul through the turbulence of life with intuitive clarity. Sufi teachings emphasize that the heart contains its own intelligence, a wisdom that sees beyond cause and effect. Where the mind focuses on linear sequences, plan, execute, result, the heart perceives the interconnectedness of all things. It recognizes that every encounter, every event, every subtle change in circumstance is part of a larger, living pattern. To cultivate awareness of the heart is to cultivate awareness of destiny itself. Consider the modern human experience. We often make decisions by logic, weighing pros and cons, calculating risks and benefits. And yet, even with careful reasoning, outcomes may defy expectation. Opportunities appear or vanish unpredictably. Relationships flourish or falter in ways that cannot be fully anticipated. The Sufi points to a different approach: allow the heart to guide, let intuition inform action, and cultivate deep presence in the unfolding moment. When the heart is aligned, decisions resonate with the flow of life, and the patterns of destiny emerge with clarity. The practice begins with stillness. A Sufi sits quietly, observing breath, heartbeat, and subtle bodily sensations. Thoughts arise, as they always do, but they are witnessed without attachment. Attention turns to the space within the chest, to the gentle rhythm of the heart. In this space, clarity arises. The heart speaks not in words but in subtle impressions, in feelings, in intuitive nudges. It may direct one to patience when impulsive action tempts, to compassion when judgment arises, to courage when fear dominates. Stories from Sufi tradition illustrate this principle vividly. One tale tells of a seeker traveling for years to find a spiritual teacher, traversing deserts, mountains, and cities. Exhausted and frustrated, he finally sits in quiet contemplation, focusing inward rather than outward. In that moment, he realizes the teacher has been within him all along, the heart itself guiding, teaching, and illuminating the path. This story conveys a central truth. The guidance of the heart is always present, but it requires stillness, awareness, and attention to perceive. Modern analogies deepen this understanding. Think of a musician improvising. Logic may guide the technical aspects, notes, rhythm, scales, but the heart perceives the resonance, the subtle dynamics, the emotional depth that transforms a sequence of notes into music. Or consider a scientist intuiting a solution to a complex problem, not through calculation alone, but through deep insight arising from a quiet, attentive mind. In both cases, the heart functions as the compass, guiding action in harmony with the underlying currents of reality. The Sufi path involves harmonizing the mind and heart. The intellect is necessary for discernment and understanding, but without heart-centered awareness, decisions and actions may be misaligned with the natural flow of life. By cultivating the heart, one develops sensitivity to the rhythm of destiny, perceiving connections, timing, and opportunities invisible to the purely rational mind. Meditation, reflective journaling, and mindful engagement in daily life are practical tools. Observe the heartbeat, notice subtle inclinations, sense the energy of decisions before acting. Ask, does this choice resonate with the truth I feel in my heart? Slowly, the heart's intelligence becomes more accessible, more reliable. Life begins to unfold as a series of harmonious events, each revealing the interplay of choice, awareness, and destiny. Even challenges and obstacles are illuminated differently when perceived through the heart. What seems like misfortune may contain hidden lessons. What feels like delay may reveal a better timing. The heart recognizes patterns and potentials invisible to the mind. In aligning with the heart, the Sufi discovers that destiny is not a rigid script but a living conversation, a dynamic dance between inner awareness and outer events. Furthermore, the heart acts as a bridge between the individual and the universal. When decisions are guided by heart-centered awareness, actions resonate beyond the self, influencing relationships, communities, and even the flow of events in subtle ways. Destiny, then, is not solitary. It is relational, participatory, and co-created. The practice culminates in deep trust. By cultivating presence, stillness, and heart-centered awareness, one learns to trust the unfolding of life. Free will is exercised consciously, intuition informs action, and the currents of fate are navigated with wisdom. The Sufi does not force outcomes, nor resist them. Instead, the heart perceives, the mind discerns, and life flows naturally. Thus, the heart as compass is more than metaphor. It is a practical principle, a guide to living consciously, a pathway through the currents of time and destiny. To follow the heart is to align with life, to perceive the hidden patterns of existence, and to participate fully in the co-creation of one's own destiny. Each beat, each sensation, each intuitive nudge is a pointer to the infinite, a reminder that the river of life flows through the heart as much as through time itself. Life, as the Sufis teach, is a delicate balance between freedom and flow. Every choice we make carries weight, yet destiny itself subtly shapes circumstances in ways often imperceptible. Understanding this interplay requires attention, patience, and sensitivity to the signs of life, those moments, coincidences, and intuitions that guide us toward alignment with our true path. These signs are not random. They are the universe speaking to the heart, whispering guidance through the currents of time. Imagine a traveler walking through a bustling city. The streets are crowded, paths cross and diverge, opportunities appear unexpectedly. A chance encounter with a stranger may lead to lifelong friendship. A missed bus may direct the traveler to an entirely new experience, or a fleeting thought may spark a creative idea. To the unaware mind, these events are coincidences or luck. To the Sufi, they are synchronous signs, the subtle language of destiny guiding conscious choice. Synchronicity, as the modern psychologist Carl Jung described, is the meaningful coincidence of events without causal connection. Sufis understood this centuries ago. The outer world reflects the inner state. When the heart is attuned, the mind present, and awareness cultivated, the seeker begins to perceive patterns and signs that guide decisions. The universe communicates not through force or decree, but through subtle alignment, showing the path that resonates with the inner flow of consciousness. Free choice, in this context, is not diminished. It is refined. The Sufi does not act blindly, nor does the seeker surrender entirely to fate. Instead, every decision is observed through the lens of awareness. Does this action align with presence, with compassion, with clarity? Choices made in this state of attentiveness harmonize with the flow of life. Actions become not impositions on reality, but responses to the currents, echoing the eternal dance of time and destiny. Consider modern examples. A writer staring at a blank page may hesitate, doubting ideas and possibilities. Then, a seemingly trivial conversation, a passing thought, or a small observation sparks inspiration. The idea appears synchronistically, aligning with inner readiness. Or a scientist struggling with a problem may experience an intuitive solution arising suddenly, seemingly from nowhere. These events are neither random nor predetermined in a rigid sense. They are manifestations of alignment between inner awareness and outer circumstances. Sufi stories emphasize the same principle. One tale describes a student seeking wisdom, wandering through mountains and deserts. At every fork in the road, the student encounters people, events, and signs that appear coincidental. Only upon reflection does it become clear that these moments guided the student toward understanding and insight. The lesson: synchronicities are invitations to awareness. Ignoring them is to walk blindly. Observing them is to navigate the river of life with consciousness. To perceive these signs, the Sufi cultivates silence and attentiveness. Meditation, contemplation, and reflective observation are essential practices. In quiet moments, subtle nudges emerge: a feeling, a thought, an intuition. These may be fleeting, easily dismissed by the distracted mind, yet they contain profound guidance. The challenge lies in distinguishing the ordinary from the extraordinary, the habitual from the meaningful. With practice, the seeker learns to trust these inner whispers as reflections of destiny. Daily life offers countless opportunities to exercise this awareness. A sudden change in plans, a lost item, an unexpected visitor, or a fleeting insight, each is a potential sign. The attentive mind notices, reflects, and responds. This responsiveness cultivates a deep sense of harmony with the flow of existence. The river of time, once experienced as chaotic or burdensome, reveals itself as a dynamic tapestry where every thread, every ripple, carries meaning. The interplay of free will and signs of destiny also emphasizes responsibility. The universe presents possibilities, but the choice to act, or not, remains with the individual. To ignore intuition, to act hastily without presence, or to resist subtle guidance, may lead to misalignment. Conversely, actions aligned with awareness, compassion, and intuition harmonize with destiny, creating ripples that extend beyond the self. This principle reshapes how we perceive challenges and delays. What appears as obstruction may be a sign, guiding us to reconsider a path, wait for a more opportune moment, or shift attention inward. Synchronistic events reveal the subtle interplay between freedom and flow, reminding us that life is a co-creative process. Destiny presents currents, but the soul navigates through conscious choice. Finally, the Sufi approach encourages humility. No matter how attentive or aware, we do not control all forces. The heart guides, the mind discerns, and awareness perceives, but the universe retains mystery. Trust, patience, and attentiveness allow us to move with grace, recognizing that the signs, though subtle, are consistent invitations to alignment, understanding, and conscious participation in the unfolding of life. Thus, free choice and synchronicity coexist as partners in the dance of destiny. The seeker learns to act consciously, notice the signs, and trust the currents. Life becomes not a series of random events nor a predetermined script, but a living dialogue between awareness and circumstance, a co-creation of inner alignment and outer manifestation. Every moment, every encounter, every intuition is a step in the sacred choreography of time and destiny. Patience is not simply waiting. It is the conscious alignment with the natural rhythms of life, a recognition that everything unfolds according to its own timing. The Sufis teach that time has layers. There is the external measured time, the ticking of clocks, the rotation of planets, the sequence of days, and there is inner time, the rhythm of the soul. Mastery of life requires attuning to this inner rhythm, cultivating patience, and recognizing the hidden wisdom in the flow of events. Consider the analogy of music. A melody is not only the sum of individual notes, it is the rhythm, the pauses, the crescendos, and the subtle dynamics that create harmony. A hasty musician, playing notes too quickly, misses the beauty of the piece. Similarly, in life, rushing, forcing outcomes, or ignoring natural timing leads to disharmony and frustration. Patience allows the soul to synchronize with a deeper flow, revealing insights, opportunities, and understanding invisible to the impatient mind. Sufi practice emphasizes observing inner rhythms. By paying attention to the breath, heartbeat, and bodily sensations, the seeker begins to perceive patterns of energy and attention. Emotions rise and fall in waves. Thoughts appear and dissolve. Recognizing these rhythms allows one to navigate life's currents with awareness, rather than being swept away by external pressures or inner turbulence. Patience, in this sense, is the skill of moving in harmony with these rhythms, allowing life to unfold organically. Modern life challenges this art. We are accustomed to instant gratification, rapid decision-making, and constant stimulation. Delays, setbacks, or periods of stillness are often experienced as obstacles rather than opportunities. Yet the Sufi approach invites a radical shift, to see patience not as passive waiting but as active engagement with the present moment. Each pause, each breath, each reflective moment becomes a gateway to insight and alignment. Stories from Sufi tradition illustrate the power of patience. One tale tells of a young seeker who travels to a distant city in search of wisdom. He studies diligently, practices devotion, and grows frustrated by slow progress. Finally, an elder guides him. The river does not rush, yet it reaches the sea. Trust its flow, and your own will find harmony. The lesson is profound. Time unfolds according to its own logic, and patience is the skill of attuning oneself to that rhythm. Even ordinary experiences reflect this principle. Consider gardening. Seeds are planted, watered, and nurtured, yet growth follows its own timing. The gardener may plan, care, and observe, but cannot accelerate the natural process. Similarly, in life, intentions, actions, and effort are essential, but they must be harmonized with timing and circumstances beyond immediate control. Patience, combined with awareness, allows one to act effectively without frustration or force. Sufi meditation enhances this perception. Sitting quietly, focusing on breath or heart, observing thoughts without attachment, the seeker experiences time differently. Moments expand. Internal rhythms become perceptible. The flow of life becomes tangible. In this expanded awareness, impatience dissolves. Insights appear naturally. Actions align spontaneously with circumstances. Destiny is no longer a distant force, but a living presence guiding decisions and interactions. The Sufi also teaches the wisdom of micropauses, small moments of reflection within daily life. Pausing before speaking, observing reactions before acting, listening fully before responding. These moments cultivate awareness and patience. They transform ordinary interactions into opportunities for conscious participation in the flow of life. The art of patience is thus practical, integrated into every aspect of existence, not confined to periods of hardship or deliberate retreat. This perspective reshapes the experience of challenges and delays. What appears as waiting, obstruction, or frustration is reinterpreted as alignment with inner and outer timing. A missed opportunity, a postponed journey, or a delayed outcome may reveal deeper lessons, more suitable paths, or essential preparation. Patience allows the seeker to perceive the hidden logic of time, to act with discernment, and to navigate life gracefully. Even the body teaches patience. Physical processes, sleep, digestion, healing, cannot be hurried without consequences. By observing the body's rhythms, the seeker internalizes the lesson of natural timing. Similarly, social and relational processes, trust, growth, understanding, require time. Awareness of these rhythms cultivates compassion, tolerance, and skillful engagement with oneself and others. Finally, the Sufi emphasizes that patience is inseparable from presence. To wait without awareness is mere delay. To wait with full attention, observing internal and external rhythms, is the cultivation of wisdom. Time, once experienced as pressure or scarcity, becomes a teacher. Each moment offers insight, each event carries meaning, and every interaction contributes to understanding the deeper patterns of destiny. Thus, the art of patience is the mastery of time itself. By aligning with inner rhythms, cultivating awareness, and observing the flow of life, the seeker perceives the hidden wisdom of events, acts in harmony with the unfolding of destiny, and moves through life with grace and clarity. Time ceases to be a force to fear or control. It becomes a living guide, a teacher, and a companion on the path of conscious existence. The Sufis teach that true mastery of life arises when heart and mind move in harmony. Often, human experience is divided. The mind analyzes, calculates, worries, or plans, while the heart feels, senses, and intuitively perceives. When these two faculties are misaligned, confusion, indecision, and suffering arise. When they synchronize, the flow of life becomes clear, choices feel natural, and destiny is perceived not as external imposition but as a living, participatory experience. Imagine a musician playing a duet with themselves, one hand improvising melody, the other providing rhythm. If hands are misaligned, the music falters, discord arises. If they are in sync, harmony emerges effortlessly. Similarly, the alignment of heart and mind produces clarity, insight, and coherent action. The mind brings discernment, foresight, and logic. The heart brings perception, resonance, and intuitive guidance. Together, they navigate life's river with skill and grace. Sufi practice emphasizes integration through observation. Begin by noticing thoughts, their content, their speed, their tendencies. Then turn inward to the heart, sensations, feelings, and subtle intuitive signals. The goal is not to suppress or judge either, but to observe, align, and allow communication between the two. Awareness acts as the bridge. With practice, the heart begins to inform the mind, and the mind begins to support the heart, creating an inner dialogue that harmonizes intention, action, and perception. Modern life provides countless opportunities to practice this synchronization. Decision-making becomes an exercise in alignment. Rather than reacting solely to impulses or rational analysis, the seeker pauses to observe internal resonance. Does the choice feel harmonious, expansive, and aligned with core values? Or is it forced, anxious, or fragmented? Actions aligned with both heart and mind flow naturally, often resulting in outcomes that feel effortless, meaningful, and synchronistic. Sufi stories illustrate this beautifully. One tale recounts a young seeker seeking guidance from a master. The seeker asks, "Master, how can I know the right path?" The master replies, "Listen to the heart, but think clearly. Let feeling guide, but let wisdom discern. When heart and mind walk together, the path appears." The seeker practices diligently, learning to distinguish impulsive desire from true intuition, to temper logic with compassion. Over time, decisions become effortless, and life unfolds in alignment with destiny's currents. This alignment also reveals hidden patterns. When the heart and mind are synchronized, seemingly random events begin to appear meaningful. Challenges reveal lessons, obstacles reveal opportunities, fleeting insights illuminate long-term direction. The Sufi begins to perceive that destiny is not external coercion but a reflection of internal harmony, unfolding through subtle interactions between awareness and circumstance. Meditation, reflection, and mindful observation are essential tools. Daily practice involves focusing on the breath, observing the body, listening to the heart, and noticing thoughts. In quiet reflection, subtle nudges arise: intuition, emotional resonance, or inner knowing. The mind may question, but with patience and attention, the two faculties converge, revealing clarity. Even ordinary activities, walking, cooking, conversing, become opportunities to exercise synchronization. This practice also cultivates resilience and adaptability. Life is inherently unpredictable. Aligning heart and mind does not eliminate challenges, but it allows the seeker to navigate them with wisdom. When setbacks occur, the synchronized state fosters calm observation, creative problem-solving, and grounded action. Destiny, instead of appearing as uncontrollable force, becomes a cooperative process in which awareness shapes experience. Consider the modern example of creative work. An artist, writer, or innovator often encounters blocks. Decisions about form, content, or timing may feel uncertain. When the heart and mind are misaligned, confusion, procrastination, or dissatisfaction dominates. When synchronized, inspiration arises naturally, choices feel coherent, and the work flows with authenticity and resonance. Life, in all its dimensions, functions similarly. Alignment produces clarity, flow, and meaningful participation in the unfolding of destiny. Moreover, synchronization fosters ethical awareness. Decisions made in harmony with both intellect and heart tend to be compassionate, fair, and sustainable. Misalignment, in contrast, often leads to impulsive, selfish, or short-sighted actions. By cultivating internal coherence, the Sufi ensures that choices contribute positively not only to personal destiny but to the broader web of life. The path is not without challenge. The mind is easily distracted, overthinking, and the heart is easily clouded by fear, desire, or attachment. Continuous attention, reflection, and practice are required. Yet, even incremental alignment produces profound effects. Relationships deepen, insights multiply, and life unfolds with increasing clarity. The seeker discovers that synchronization itself is a form of mastery, a key to perceiving the interconnectedness of all events, choices, and outcomes. Finally, this harmony transforms perception of time and destiny. Past regrets, future anxieties, and present distractions lose power. Each moment becomes a site of full engagement. Actions resonate with both wisdom and feeling. Opportunities are recognized. Synchronicities become visible. Life is no longer fragmented, reactive, or confusing. The synchronized heart and mind experience destiny not as something to be grasped or feared, but as a living, participatory, and profoundly meaningful flow. Thus, the Sufi path emphasizes the sacred alignment of inner faculties. By cultivating awareness, synchronizing heart and mind, and observing the subtle guidance of life, the seeker navigates the currents of existence with grace, clarity, and insight. Destiny unfolds not as rigid fate nor chaotic chance, but as a co-created dance between consciousness and circumstance, illuminated by the harmony within. As we reach the culmination of this exploration, the Sufi teaching reveals a profound truth. Time, heart, and destiny are inseparable. They are not distinct forces acting independently, but aspects of a single living reality. Time is not merely a sequence of moments. The heart is not merely an organ of emotion. Destiny is not merely an external force. Together, they form a dynamic, interconnected whole, a flowing tapestry in which consciousness, action, and the universe coalesce. Imagine the river once again, its waters flowing endlessly toward the sea. Each wave, each ripple, each reflection of sunlight is unique, yet none exists in isolation. The river embodies time, constantly moving, carrying experiences and events. The leaf upon its surface represents the heart, sensitive to currents, navigating with intuition and resonance. The course of the river, the path of the leaf, and the interplay of currents together create destiny, a living, co-creative process that is revealed moment by moment. Sufi wisdom emphasizes that understanding this unity transforms perception. Past and future lose their illusory dominance. The present moment becomes the arena of conscious participation. Awareness of the heart allows insight into the subtle patterns of life, and alignment between heart and mind enables skillful action. Destiny is not a distant decree but a living expression of harmony between internal and external realities. Consider modern human experience. We often perceive life as fragmented: career, relationships, health, ambitions, and challenges appear as separate tracks demanding attention. Yet when we observe deeply, we find interconnection. Choices made with presence and heart-centered awareness resonate across multiple dimensions of life. Synchronistic events, intuitive insights, and opportunities emerge naturally. Life begins to feel coherent, purposeful, and aligned. This is the Sufi perspective in action. Unity transforms complexity into meaningful flow. Meditation and reflection are essential tools for perceiving this unity. Sitting quietly, observing breath, heartbeat, thoughts, and sensations, the seeker begins to perceive patterns in the ebb and flow of inner and outer life. Events are not merely sequential or accidental. They are reflections of underlying rhythms, manifestations of a living, responsive universe. The present moment becomes luminous, revealing connections between past experiences, current actions, and future potentials. Sufi stories illustrate the harmony of these elements. One tells of a traveler seeking ultimate wisdom. He journeys far, studies with masters, and experiences hardships. Frustrated, he asks a sage, "Where is the truth? How can I grasp it?" The sage replies, "Time is the river, the heart is your guide, and destiny is the dance of both. You do not grasp truth. You live it in alignment, step by step, breath by breath." The traveler realizes that wisdom is not a distant prize but a living experience of unity. In daily life, this unity manifests in subtle ways. A decision made with clarity and awareness carries integrity and resonance. Moments of stillness reveal guidance, intuition, and insight. Challenges become teachers rather than obstacles. Relationships deepen when heart, mind, and presence align. Even simple experiences, walking in nature, listening to music, engaging in conversation, become portals into the interconnectedness of existence. The practice of aligning with this unity also cultivates resilience and equanimity. When the heart, mind, and perception of time are synchronized, external turbulence loses its power to unsettle. Obstacles are perceived as integral parts of life's rhythm, opportunities as expressions of alignment. Destiny is no longer a source of anxiety or helplessness. It becomes a living process in which conscious presence shapes outcomes, and the soul participates fully in the unfolding of reality. Sufi meditation emphasizes continuous observation and adjustment. Awareness monitors the mind's tendencies, the heart's inclinations, and the flow of time in action. Misalignment is corrected gently, insight emerges naturally, and choice becomes guided by internal coherence. Life, once experienced as chaotic or fragmented, reveals its underlying order and beauty. Each action, each breath, each moment is infused with meaning, contributing to a larger, living pattern. Even adversity offers profound teaching. Pain, loss, or delay, when perceived through the lens of unity, become part of the tapestry rather than disruptive anomalies. The heart's guidance ensures compassionate response, the mind discerns practical steps, the awareness of time allows patience and understanding. The seeker learns to navigate life not as a series of crises, but as a harmonious dance, integrating challenges into the flow of growth and insight. Ultimately, the unity of time, heart, and destiny points to the deepest Sufi insight. Conscious presence transforms life into sacred participation. Every moment is an opportunity to perceive, understand, and engage with the underlying harmony of existence. Destiny is not imposed, nor is it random. It is realized in alignment with the rhythms of the heart, the clarity of the mind, and the flow of time. Life becomes a continuous meditation, a living symphony, and a reflection of the eternal within the temporal. By cultivating awareness, practicing heart-centered observation, integrating mind and intuition, and attuning to the flow of time, the seeker experiences a profound transformation. Life is no longer a battle against circumstances, a chase after goals, or a struggle with fate. It is a living, breathing, unfolding reality in which every action, thought, and feeling participates in the harmonious dance of existence. The Sufi path is the art of perceiving and moving within this unity, allowing destiny to emerge naturally, gracefully, and meaningfully, moment by moment. Thus, the Sufi teaching on the unity of time, heart, and destiny reveals the deepest secret. Life is not a series of disconnected events, nor a linear script to be followed. It is a dynamic, living interplay, in which consciousness, awareness, and action converge to co-create reality. The seeker who aligns with this truth experiences the eternal not as distant abstraction, but as the living essence of each moment, each breath, each heartbeat, a continuous, conscious dance with destiny itself.